Okay, what's going on here? Somebody's grabbing my cursor. They're not letting me. Oh, nah, they let it go. That was very strange. Grabbing my cursor. I wonder what that download that interfered with me yesterday or the other day when my computer got attacked. That was interesting. Well, I guess I don't need much of an introduction here. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is February 11th. Can you believe that? 2018. And no, I didn't tell anybody I was going to do this. It's kind of impromptu again for a couple of reasons. The weather here is pretty bad. I had to open a window, though, because it was kind of stuffy, so you might hear a lot of background noise. And I'm not sure how well the signal will do. I've seen it jump in and out a couple of times now. But I'll go ahead and get started. Hi, everyone. I'm Roy Potter. This is the Potter Expositor, the live stream version. As I said, today is February 11th. Let me make sure I'm right there. Yeah, 2018. Let me turn down the microphone just a little bit so I don't blast you out. Hopefully that'll be okay. Right there. Okay, and I'll come down here on the chat a little bit so I can see, make sure you guys can tell me that the sound is okay. The picture, you know how that goes. But as long as the sound is okay, that's the important part. You know, when you make movies, even if you have a bad filming time, you know, when you get out there and you mess up the actual recording, as long as the sound is good, you can deal with that. But boy, without the sound, it's shot. So everything's great. Okay, I'm going to try to keep a little distance from the microphone this time. Okay, why am I coming on tonight? Well, I was sent something that Q posted today. As I said, I am not keeping track of Q any longer. But when people send me things, I have to take a look. Now, I've given the GitHub location on the web to a lot of people to watch the Q, because even though I'm not too terribly involved in that right now, a lot of people still, and I admit this, can get red-pilled from it. They can find out things that they wouldn't know otherwise. However, I have some other issues with it, like I've talked to everybody about before, and I'm going to bring up one of those right now. Because this is the kind of thing, I talk about cult behavior, and to see it from Q is really surprising. Actually, it isn't, because I know the background, at least I think I know. I'm in communications with a number, the wind's blowing so hard it's blowing the attic door open. Well, that's crazy. Okay. I have some, I won't tell you who they are, but I have some contact with people who have been on the boards, okay? I'll just put it like that. And there are some anomalies there. And I talked about those for a long time, especially since around the first part of January, I became very concerned. Anyway, so, you know, I've been one of those people that has been saying we need to start seeing some action, right? And you notice I put on the name here, murder, or on the title, Murder on a Russian Plane. Have all of you heard about that? The Russian plane that crashed outside of Moscow? And apparently everybody's been arguing about who the target was, because they're pretty sure it's a Hillary hit, because, you know, they're looking for ties to uranium-1 and all that. Even George Webb has been talking about this, a lot of people. And it looks like now, I tweeted out a tweet to me talking about one of the people on the plane that they thought it might be a seat number 32, 20, and there was some disagreement because of the different lists that are out there. But that wasn't my point about the one person. My point is that these people, as I have said, the New World Order, the deep state, the entire thing with the Clinton Foundation, uranium-1, all those people that are involved in this authoritarian, tyrannical system are willing to kill many, many people to ensure that they stay in power. So here we go, whether it was one person on that plane and they killed over 70 others to get that one person, like we drone. Can you think of the moral irresponsibility and disgusting behavior of taking out an entire wedding party an Islamic wedding party or Arab wedding party or Iranian, well, they're not doing it in Iran, but using a drone or whatever to take out one possible terrorist and kill 200 people in a wedding party, is that morally acceptable? Not to me. Well, I hope you feel as bad when you hear that that's what happened to these people on this Russian plane. If in fact the cabal was after one person, they were willing to kill over 70 other people, men, women, and children, to get that one person. That should tell you what these people are like. Now, it's very possible, and it looks like a number of people on that plane were tied into, I forget the name of the Rotterdam or whatever it is, the Russian nuclear energy deal. Rotterdam, I think is how you say it. And they may have, many of them on that plane may have been tied to uranium-1. But still, really, we don't know what the cause of the accident was. At least I haven't seen that yet. Okay, I don't know for certain. But timing tells you a lot. Timing tells you a lot. And the timing of this is at least suspicious. So my point here is, yes, do you see? And is Trump doing his job? Is Trump doing his job? Yes, I'm going to call it out. Las Vegas shooting. Uh-oh. And now this. And who knows how many others. How many other murders have we had? Where am I going with this? I've been saying since a year ago that Trump has to take action. I understand trying to wake up the American people where they can understand how bad this whole thing is and get them ready for a purge in our system. I understand that. But how many people have to be murdered by the cabal? What is the acceptable level of loss here, of collateral damage? And that's what they'll call it, collateral damage. That's real nice when you can say it statistically, but what if it was your family? What if it was your girlfriend? What if it was your child? What if it was your husband, boyfriend, brother? You get my point? Then do you feel like collateral damage is probably okay? And you're hearing this from a guy who is trained to kill people and break things, right? And I still find it reprehensible. So, I've been complaining about this not taking action. If I were a prosecutor, okay, granted, throwing all of the politics aside. By the way, I set this up quickly tonight, so I'm not dressed up. The lighting is just really bad, I understand, but I just wanted to get going. I'll try to calm down a little bit here. You have to put the politics aside. The American people are just going to have to get red-pilled during the purge, during the Second American Revolution, during the reinstitution, the Reformation, not the Reformation, the resurrection of our constitutional republic. Or else, more people are going to suffer, like they did in Vegas. You can't control all the criminals. But if you'll think about it, and a lot of commentators, Alex Jones, a lot of people have talked about this, Michael Adams from Natural News, lots of people. Do criminals kill most, the run-of-the-street criminal, drug lords, robbers, those kinds of people? Are they responsible for the millions and millions of deaths in the world? No, it's government. And more often than not, it hasn't been in a war situation. It's been in democide, the killing of the people by their own governments. Russia, Soviet Russia, don't mistake it for the current one. China, Cambodia. And we're supposed to trust these people? No. People have to wake up. And if it's a bad dream, they need to wake up now and stop this silliness of trying to prepare them for something, because we've got a lot of other stuff coming down the pike right now. And it's going to be, the early bird catches the worm. The cabal might still pull this off because we're afraid of taking action because the people aren't awake enough yet to understand what's happening. Do they ever? Do they ever understand? Do they even care? Okay. 500 people injured about in Vegas. 58 killed, something like that. Something real strange there because none of the injured have died. I've never seen that in a shooting situation where people with major injuries didn't die, especially with the amount of time it took to respond. Now, for those of you who say, oh, the whole thing was staged, like I've been, people have been accosting me on that before. No, it was a combination, like I said before, of a live action deal and a drill. And the two videos and all that information was thrown together for whatever nefarious purpose. Ask the FBI, ask the CIA, and at this point, ask Trump, because he hasn't done anything to unload this information and to tell us what really happened. Right? So, you have Vegas. And now this Russian airplane taking out all these people. An act of murder. Mass murder. So, you want to know why I'm tired of puzzles? You want to know why I'm a little upset that there's not any action taken because we keep hearing these excuses that we have to prepare the people and that the courts won't handle what we've got right now because they're corrupt? And I know that, but there are other ways around that. And it's out of control. We have the 5G thing, the nanotech, the wet works, all of that within a month or two. If the information that we have is right about it. And it might already be in place. Regardless, allowing people to be murdered in mass like this because we don't want to hurt the feelings of the American people. We don't want to shock them. Well, they're going to get a shock if we don't do something. So, I've been very public about my consternation over this, about my anger, about my, impatience? Impatience? We've been at this for 30 to 60 years? I know it's not going to be able to be fixed overnight. But allowing these guilty people to walk free, they're even talking, I heard today, I haven't seen the evidence yet. I haven't seen the actual information. I've just been told about it. Yeah, the Bundys were set free, but now the new U.S. attorney down there wants to appeal the judge's decision and recharge them. Where the hell is Sessions to tell his people, his dogs, to back off? This doesn't look like what it appears to be, like things are going down the way they should. No, it looks like procrastination, postponement, delay, a feint. Not an F-A-I-N-T, an F-E-I-N-T, a military term, meaning you look like you're going to do something and you don't. I don't see anybody collared yet. And now we have mass murders, and I said, how many times have I said this? Vegas, and now the Russian deal, and the threats against the Bundys again, if that's true. Again, I haven't confirmed that, but it wouldn't surprise me a bit. Where the hell is Jeff Sessions? Oh, he's doing all this stuff in the background. It's got to be kept quiet because we don't want to disturb anybody. It's going to be a surprise attack. Come on. The deep state knows what you're doing. And Hillary, probably, the cabal, I'll put it that way, killing these Russians proves it. And I frankly love the Russian people, and you should too. This is just getting out of control. So, what does Q say today? Well, I'm going to read it to you. Okay? And I'm sorry for the dogs barking. I had to open the window. Okay, so this, you can go see this on the GitHub. If you don't know where it is, go ask somebody. I haven't got time to tell you. Posted today, February 11th, and the time stamp is 13/37/17. Okay? The post number is 339775. And I'm not going to read the whole thing here. I just want to go down to the part that I saw this when somebody sent it to me, and I went, well, what do you know? And this is what it says. You ready for this? This is Q supposedly. I'm not sure it's the real Q, but this is what everybody's accepting now. Like I said, I have questions after Thanksgiving, and certainly after the first of the year. Quote, ask yourself, would the public understand the following statement? Rogue actors, clowns, U.S. former heads of state initiated a missile launch in order to force the U.S. into a war conflict against somebody else. We're talking about North Korea. What about the missile launch on Hawaii? And yes, it was a real missile launch. If you've done some other research following this, you'll know that the people that I worked with to figure this out were correct. And more people now are admitting that there was a real submarine missile launch off of Hawaii with a nuclear warhead headed towards Kauai, probably. And that the Clintons were there to watch a view to a kill. And they were at least 100 miles away, if not more. Yeah, it's worse than fiction. It's worse than the movies. Sorry I interrupted. Be the autists we know. We. You notice Q's saying we now, so he's admitting it's a team, or she's admitting it's a team. I think it's a she. I don't believe, like Monograph, that this is Hillary, by the way. I don't, for a lot of reasons, which I won't go into here. But, again, you notice I don't attack Monograph for disagreeing with me. You don't need an echo chamber. Be the autists we know you are. Those who cannot understand that we cannot simply start arresting without first ensuring the safety and well-being of the population. Did a good job of that in Vegas, didn't you? Shifting the narrative, removing those in D.C. through resignation to ensure success. Defeating ISIS, MS-13 to prevent fail-safes. What? Who wrote this? Freezing assets to remove network-to-network abilities. Yeah, that's good. Kill off the command and control to prevent top-down communications, organization, etc., etc. That's all in between. I'm going to cut all that middle stuff out, and I'm going to read the first sentence and the last part of the last sentence. So this is the summation. Those who cannot understand that we cannot simply start arresting should not be participating in discussions. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Let me read it to you again. I'm going to cut out all that other information in between about questioning about arrests, about, why do we have to do all of these things? Why can't, in other words, question, why can't we make a collar right now? Okay? This is the answer. I'm going to read it again. Those who cannot understand that we cannot simply start arresting, all that stuff in between, should not be participating in discussions. This isn't cultic behavior? Aren't you told to shut up in church if you don't toe the line of the dogma? Aren't you told to shut up if you don't agree with the Democratic left? And now, this is supposed to be somebody representing the President of the United States? Really? Really? Somebody's trying to call me, but I'm not taking any calls, at least not right now. Unless it's you, Monty. Or if it's Scott. I don't know who it is. Anybody else, I'm not sure I should take the call. Sorry. So, our mere questioning, that is the basis for us not being privileged to be involved in the discussion. Wow. Do you all see the problem with this? Do you see it? I've been warning about this since October. There's something really, really wrong here. When the whole thing of the DEFCON 1 came out on January, what was that, 4th? I don't even remember now. I don't even remember what day it was. It wasn't the 4th. I'm sorry. That was the Super Bowl. The DEFCON 1 deal. And I just went ballistic. I guess it was January 4th, wasn't it? Yeah. Sorry about the dogs again. I had a good reason for that, because DEFCON 1 is used when you have the launch imminent. In other words, it's up and coming. Up until that time, it's a DEFCON 2. The entire Cuban Missile Crisis was a DEFCON 2. It never went to DEFCON 1 because something never went in the air. If once something's in the air, once something's on the way, that's a whole different story. But at any rate, the point is I got upset about it, right? Yeah. There's something wrong here. We have people in Q, despite all of the good red pilling that it can do, we have some people here who are either immature or worse. There is a poster on Twitter, and she goes by the handle B. She knows who she is. She's probably watching this. And, you know, we started off communicating a little bit, and I'm a nobody. I sound like Marty when I say that. But I realize that. I'm not sitting here in Washington, D.C., like B apparently is, and Q, with this privileged connection to Donald Trump, or at least that's the claim. B and I communicated a little bit, and I backed off of that whole thing because I didn't want to hurt the Q mission. Because the red pilling is important. The rhetoric, the Socratic method has been important to help wake people up. It's gone crazy. Everybody's talking about it now. It's been a great success. But it's also given us tunnel vision, where we're not watching our flanks. We've got what we think is the objective right in front of us, and the enemy's doing double envelopment around us. Do you understand? This that I just read you is an indictment against Q. And everything Q says it stands for. Awakening the people. But don't you dare question Q. That's a blasphemy. Don't you dare question why there aren't arrests. If Trump is behind this, we are in trouble. And I just lost my temper. I wasn't even going to go this far. Like I said, I gave out the GitHub to some very dear friends just in the last week, on a hope that they could use it to educate themselves. And now this. Oh, we just have to accept it. We have to accept what the research board anons decide upon. Or Q will just deal with them. Anybody else who questions doesn't have a right to be a part of the discussion. You just told me everything I need to know. If President Trump doesn't move to take out some of these bad actors, and quickly, you're going to have a lot more murders the size of Vegas and the size of this plane going down in Russia. Innocent men, women, and children being slaughtered because we're afraid to wake them up before they're slaughtered. I don't expect B to contact me. Frankly, I don't even want her to. I'm so disgusted I can barely stand it. No, I'm not answering the phone. Sorry, I'm not. I'm not going to take any questions tonight. I just want you to understand this. If you guys don't know where that post is from Q on the GitHub, I'd send you to, the Chan. But that most of you, some of you know how to negotiate that, to navigate it. But it's very difficult if you're not used to it. The GitHub is the best thing. So maybe you can just Google the Q GitHub. You know? Let me see if I can give you a little information here. Or I can put it up in the description box when I'm done, if I feel like it. As you can tell, I'm in a really bad mood. I would, as in the military, I would never allow somebody not to speak, not to be a part of the discussion because they questioned what was going on. Once the decision is made, but Q is not the decision-making level, I'm sorry, it isn't. And being a part of the discussion at this, I thought that was the whole idea of Q, is to get people talking and trying to figure things out, not just what they direct us to look at and to accept, like blind followers, like blind sheep. Okay, so it's www.q dot GitHub, GITHUB.io. I'll say it one more time. Maybe somebody could put it up in the chat room. www.QCODEFAG, all lowercase letters, dot GITHUB.io. And you can scroll down. I don't mind you looking at all this stuff. There's a lot of interesting information. There's a bunch of hogwash, too, about something that happened in China and blowing out a window. We've looked into that, too. I'm not so sure that that's what they say it is. We've got a problem with Q. And I'll say it publicly if nobody else will. And Monograph has been attacked for saying there's a problem. Again, I don't agree with him that Q is Hillary. And I don't believe that Q has been wholly unnecessary and a LARP. Not the entire thing. But he and others, and myself and others, have been attacked because we dare to commit blasphemy against a faceless Q, who says that if we question why there aren't arrests, then we don't have a right to be a part of the discussion. Damn, I feel like I'm in Soviet Russia or communist China. Really? You think Trump is behind that? I don't. B, this better get fixed. Who is Potter to tell anybody anything? I've got a little bit of brain left between my ears. Okay? I wouldn't accept this kind of bullshit from a general, much less Q. If we're going into battle, we've done a course of action study, made out the op plan, made out the op order, tried to confine ourselves to the commander's intent, and he says, go, we're going. But they say they can't do that. They say that they can't do the go yet because they might disrupt the public. Well, I think you get my point. Spent a lot of time on this today. I didn't have any intention of doing it. I just couldn't hold it in any longer. I just couldn't. This is inexcusable. No, Q isn't a prophet of God. You know, the team isn't a cloistered, what do they call that when they elect the Pope? I can't remember right now what that's called. Sorry, it escaped me. The point is they're not infallible. And a lot of things in the Q post, especially in the last month, prove it. I'm not saying not to watch it, but I'm saying, damn it, people. You got to stop accusing people of what is basically, you're accusing them of blasphemy if they question things. You're acting cultic. It's cult behavior. Please. You know, the American people need to wake up, right? I agree. Red pill them any way we can. But somebody has got to be indicted and arrested and thrown in jail. Accosting, even threatening the Bundys again when you have murderers from the cabal loose in the world? Is that justice? Is Jeff Sessions out of his mind? Or does he even have one to allow his U.S. attorney to do that in Nevada? Something's wrong, and I've said it a long time. The Bundys got released, but are they going to get threatened again because something's changed back? Why isn't Hillary collared yet, or at least people associated with her? And I don't mean just nice little resignations. That proves nothing. Okay. I was going to cover some other things maybe, but not. I'm going to look at the chat real quick. See who, by the way, if you accost me for this, I'm just going to ignore it. I might even just block you because I'm sick and tired of trying to accommodate idiots. Conclave. You know, somebody wrote I think it was on my Twitter. Yeah, it's a guy on Twitter. Something about cabinets. He goes by some kitchen cabinets or something. And frankly, I was going to lambast him. He's probably watching. I'm going to let him know. Yeah, I was going to lambast him. I'm going to say you're everything that's wrong with the things that are wrong with Christianity that have been wrong. You're the embodiment of them, Mr. Kitchen Cabinets or whatever your name is. But he said, you sound like you're starting to talk like you were a Catholic. No, I'm not a Catholic. I was at one time when I was younger. I was even an altar boy. I think I told you people that. Yeah, but I forgot. I couldn't remember what the conclave thing. I was thinking concave, and I knew that wasn't right. I was thinking, you know, what consonant am I leaving out there? So thank you. Yeah, the conclave. The Syria thing. Yeah, that's another one. See, that's what I'm talking about. There's another one. I thought we were getting out of these things. We're surrounding Russia. We're upping the war in Afghanistan. Not just going after the CIA drug labs. We're having these black ops and this hardware on the ground in Syria that we're the ones that aren't invited there. What the hell do we think we're doing? The promises aren't being kept by and large. And I, for one, am going to sing it from the housetops, even if no one else does. Didn't I say that before? I will stand by principle even if I'm the only one to do it. Oh, but Trump, he's got the whole deep state against him. Hey, he asked for the job, not me. He said what he was going to do. I didn't force it down his throat. You're going to lose your families, members of your families, if they don't start acting on the cabal. You're going to start losing members of your family. And it's not far away. I don't want to hear any more excuses. And you know what? I might just walk away from it because I know I'm a little voice. But I can't stand this. Again, I believe Donald Trump to be a good man. I believe he's a spiritual man. He might be playing 4D chess, but nobody dies in 4D chess. The most you get, usually, is a loss of status. I don't want to hear this anymore. Who's disinformation, James Taylor? Me? I'm not going to attack you because I don't even know who you're talking to. You might be answering somebody else. Oh, that's another thing. Somebody, I won't say whom, I got this secondhand too because I don't go looking. I don't go looking for what people say about me, okay? Because I really don't care, right? I really don't care. But apparently there's a group out there that are attacking Monograph and some other people, and I guess I'm included in this attack that's going on, right? And they're saying that I'm a member of the deep state. That I'm going to be singing a different tune after I get arrested for my un-American activities. Wow. Why don't you Google me and find out how long I've been at this? Really? I was at this before you were born. I'm talking to the people that, well, not one of them. She's actually probably older than me. It's a joke. And it's false accusations, and it's false witness. And it's really shoddy, shitty investigative work, frankly. Okay? All right. Yeah, the people. Yeah, I've heard that too. The people aren't awake enough yet. Yeah. Well, when the bombs started, or when the war started, World War II, were they awake? Were they ready? When the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, which of course was essentially an orchestrated false flag by FDR. I think most of us know that by now. Oh, they weren't awake either, were they? Your destruction will take you unawares, regardless. There's a bell curve, and I've talked about this before. There's a bell curve. Anybody study math? Anybody study statistics? There's a bell curve. You have a few people that believe you no matter what. You know, this is just an example, and this is going along with this waking people up, okay? You have a small group on one side that'll believe anything you say. You have a group on the other side that won't believe you no matter what. And then you have different degrees of people in the middle that are undecided. You never win all of them. The Revolutionary War was fought with between 3 and 7% of the population. Do you understand that? The rest of them weren't aware, didn't understand, until the Redcoats came and gutted them with their bayonets or blew them to pieces with their cannonballs. So I said they Googled me. It's like learning how sausage is made. I'm an onion. You remember Shrek? The donkey says to him, "Oh, Shrek, you're like a cake. You got layers." And Shrek says, "No, donkey, I'm not like a cake. I'm like an onion. Peel onion. I'm an onion. I'm a very complicated guy. I've learned a lot in my life. You know, and I'm not ashamed of what I did because I know why I did it in my heart. Okay? And I never hurt anybody doing it. Not intentionally. I mean, we all make mistakes and I'll say things we don't mean and stuff like that, but I'm not going to make excuses for it. It's one reason why I know what I know today. Okay. Donkey is my favorite. Yeah, that's true. So who is the target now, Roy? Who's the target? I don't know. If you're talking about the airplane, the Russian plane, it was apparently a group of people who had negotiated the uranium-1 thing with Hillary and the Clinton Foundation and all of that. Some people were saying it was members of the Russian government that killed these people who probably have ties to Hillary. But oh no, but that's Trump, right? Trump has ties with Russia, not Hillary, right? Yeah. Nunes better get his stuff moving and fast and forget about this trying to red pill people slowly. We ain't got time. Okay. Yeah, again, I'm not. Yeah, somebody's asking about the GitHub again. If I remember, I'll put it in the description box. Okay, I don't see much more going on here. What should we do? Well, I've always said it. If you think that a militia is going to take on any aspect of the government, you're out of your mind. Prep, get food, water, medical supplies, clothing, whatever. Prep, pray, because that's really the only hope we really have. And get out of the way the best you can. The government didn't save the people in Vegas, and I made that point before. If our surveillance system is so wonderful, how did the Vegas thing happen? Oh no, they're interested in spying on you and your house. They want to find out if you spank your kid so they can take the kid away from you, put him in CPS, and then send him off to some pedophile network. When I was doing my homeless camps documentary, this was back in 2011. Matter of fact, it's on this channel. If you type in the search box for my channel on homeless camps, it should come up. And I went to a lot of places, and one of the places I went was Austin, Texas. Isn't that surprising? And there at the time, I don't know if it's still there. There was a huge homeless community there in Austin. I don't remember exactly where it was, but it took up several blocks. And I ran into this. One lady one was an older girl. I'd say she was probably maybe 25. And then there was this other one that I'd say she was probably about 21. And I had interviewed a lot of these homeless people. A lot of them were vets. A lot of them. And she told me her horrible story about CPS and what it did to her. She admitted that her parents were probably abusive, but she suffered far worse under CPS. First-hand account. And she was in the woods to try to protect herself from them. She was older then. I think she was about 19 or so, maybe 20. But she knew. And that evil does exist out there. Okay. All right. Vegas was fake news bullshit. I'm going to tell you one more time. No, it wasn't. They used drill footage because they had been conducting a drill. They used drill footage and they melded it with the real thing. I had a friend, and I've said this before, I had a friend whose nephew was shot there. Okay? So there was a real shooting. No matter what anybody tells you, it really did happen. But they mixed the drill footage with the actual, what people were getting on their cell phones. There was both. I still am not convinced that they were shooting those helicopters were shooting, despite the fact the way they were moving and all of that. Tactically, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I know even Monograph was the first one apparently to point out that these helicopters were in the air. Granted. And then, of course, Jake Morphonios and Shepard Ambulis and, of course, Scott Anthony, we realized the helicopters were there. We know that. I said very early on that the key to what happened in Vegas is the airport. Okay? But I'm still not convinced that those helicopters were shooting people on the ground. I'm not certain that that's the case. If that were the case, why would they have shooters anywhere else? Why would they have to have snipers anywhere else? Why would they have to have people in the crowd shooting people if they're going to do it all from the gunships? It just, tactically, it doesn't make any sense. And I don't see any evidence of it. I'm not saying the helicopters weren't involved, but I don't think there was any real shooting from the helicopters. But that's even a moot point, a minor point. The point is, there were people shot and killed there. Yeah, there might be some actors, thrown in there with new identities and all that. Who knows what the deep state, the FBI, the crooked, protection racket, the FBI. We could call them so many nicknames, so many weird names. I heard Matt Bracken, as a matter of fact. This was good. He was on Alex Jones on Friday, I think. And he agrees with me. I mean, it's not like he's agreeing with me, but he says the same thing. There used to be good people in the FBI. He says, I keep hearing about all the fact that, it's just the top of the FBI, that the lower agents are really good. And he says, that's not true. This is from Matt Bracken, who has contact, like with Craig Sawyer and other federal people, He says it's not true. They're all social justice warriors that don't care a thing about the Constitution. The Bundy situation showed that. True Pundit showed that when he showed that all these FBI people that are out there doing these investigations are turning over the information to their superiors, who then bury the evidence against Hillary and against Reid and all that. They bury it real deep, and then they turn around and they go after people like the Bundys. And you've heard me talk about this 100 times, so I won't get into it again. But no, I'm like Matt Bracken. I don't trust anybody in the FBI. I'm not saying there aren't good ones there, but they're not the majority as far as I can tell. And Matt Bracken fully agrees with me on that. They were taken over by the CIA under Mueller. And then even more so under Comey. The whole thing at the Boston shooting, the Boston bombing, was about that war between the CIA and the FBI. And I talked about that since the bombing happened in 2013. And now here we are. I've been talking about a war in the government since 2011. Actually, I mentioned it even earlier than that, but I wasn't on YouTube. What have we got today? A civil war in the government. Trying to overthrow the president, trying to overthrow the Second American Revolution, trying to make us a tyrannical state and control us at our every breath. Oh, yeah. Well, you got a lot of good agents in the FBI. Yeah, sure. Then why aren't they arresting the people that are trying to take over the country? Okay. They are erasing B's posts? Really? Everything since January 27th is gone? Well, I'll have to go look at that, because I just saw a post from her, I think it was this morning. You know, I'm not sure. Oh, Timothy Holmseth is calling me and Monty traitors. That just shows he doesn't even know what a traitor is. He doesn't even know the Constitution. By the way, I don't listen to him, okay? I don't give those people the time of day. I don't give them my time at all. I have other people like this telling me about it, but I don't go there and go, oh, gee, what are they saying about me? You know, that's a waste of time. I don't do that. And you notice I'm not going to attack them, okay? It's not worth it. I'm going to do what I do. I don't need to put somebody else down to do what I do, okay? I'll just leave it at that. Okay. I don't really see anything else here that I can address today. I might do a live stream Tuesday morning, okay? I'll be in a little better mood then. I'll close it down now. Thanks for coming, everybody. You know, it's really funny because I'm trying to start, you know, living again, so to speak. Man, it's a rough world out there when you try to start your social life up again. It's a murderous thing. I don't know, people have either changed a lot or maybe I just have a different way of viewing things. But at any rate, so, you know, I backed off a lot again. Before it was because of some things that had happened to me that I couldn't control, illness-wise. I think most of the people who have been following me for a long time are aware of that. I won't get into the particulars, but I've pretty much overcome it now. And it wasn't like a disease, that kind of a thing. It was basically somebody caused it. I'll just put it that way. So I haven't really felt much like doing anything, but I'm getting started again. So, you know, we should work to live, not live to work. And which is another reason why we got to fight this cabal, right? Okay. All right. Thanks again, everybody, for coming. You gotta pray harder, people. If we don't have it, and again, I understand trying to get the people ready to go, but you're not gonna get everybody to get ready. So those of you who are awake, pray with all your might. God bless you. God bless the constitutional republic. And God bless President Donald Trump in all of his righteous endeavors. That's the end, but I give it a chance to catch up here, and then I'll check out. Hopefully I didn't lose much of the signal during this. We'll see. Okay, you should have gotten the last part, so out here.